Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
what's also interesting is that each particular race or civilization will have its own unique resonance within those civilizations. And that is something that has to be taken into account of the medbed. Now, I don't know if the A's, if their medbed can work on Syrians or Pleiadians or Arcturians or Centaurians. I don't know that. But in order for it to work, they would have to, that device, that camera, would have to have the resonance of those particular civilizations. Now, the organs may be similar, but each race has a very specific resonance of its own, you know.
That's so
So it's simple yet complicated.
yeah, it's very simple. It's simple to understand and yeah, makes so much more sense. It makes sense. Um now I understand that in November of 2025, Elena, you were invited by Alex up um, in an experience to the Andromedan starship. And would you care to talk about this with our audience? Let's rip the band-aid off and
Oh, it was just to have some Romulan ale. I mean,
yeah.
just
Yeah,
kidding.
just invited me for a blue drink. Uh,
Okay.
well, I think Morene organized this because I was brought there. I didn't know where I was going, and I found myself arriving there. And I went, oh my goodness, I've never been on an Andromedan ship, Zenith ship before. So there's a purpose to it. And then I see Alex coming, and he was like, what are you doing here? You know, and it was so beautiful to find a friend from Earth in space. It really was awesome. And so he made me a visit, a tour of the ship, and I really enjoyed it. What I enjoyed was okay, the quality of the light and of the air was different, was beautiful. There was uh the light, the air was not empty. Normally you see it's bright or more or less, but there's nothing there. But there was like a kaleidoscope of constantly moving lights, multicolored light, and disappearing, reappearing. When you have your phone, you want to take a photo, and there's water, rainwater, and it diffracts the light and it makes all these colors. It was a bit like this and moving. And it was smelling very good. And the ship was very organic. Like I felt very quickly as if I was inside of a living being, a biological body.
Oh, beautiful.
It was a biological body because it was all organic. And if I didn't touch physically anything by contact, but when I was approaching my hand of some structures or even the water in some basins, it was reacting like a skin, like it wasn't biological skin, but I know these materials, they're organic and they're imbued with life, even if they don't look like skin or flesh, but they, you know, and it was moving away from my finger or just undulating and responding, and there was a consciousness present everywhere. It was a consciousness of the ship. I saw we heard children in the background. They were like that was so cute. Women as well were very curious of seeing me, and I saw sort of different decor inside, but we stayed mostly in an area where there were gardens and basins of water basins, staged with organic shapes,
Oh, beautiful.
and we just chatted and having nice, friendly time.
So was it very, very different from an Altian ship?
Oh, not that different. it was very interesting because in an Altian ship, which is more social shape like, these ones were, the Andromedan ship appeared to me like a bubble, you know, but iridescent. But the Altian ship, it's organic as well inside. It's alive, but you have a different feel. The consciousness is different. You feel there's a consciousness in the ship, but it's not embedding. It's like it's not a living organic being. It's different. But it's, you know, these advanced technologies, they all
Yeah.
kind of similar, but different at the same time, if you know what I mean.
So what are you going to speak about as well? Are you going to speak about the ships and yeah, just give us a little hint of because it's
Yeah,
so
I'm going to
interesting.
talk about that, and I'm going to talk about the A's. And one of the points that Elena made about the difference of the energy, the Andromedans are very, very drawn, and they gather their grounding, their strength. I'm not exactly sure the words here, from nature, and they surround themselves with nature everywhere. There are huge orchards around the parks where they grow their food, their fruit, their food. And ponds. There were a lot of ponds and smaller lakes all over the place. So there's always water. There's living things that are kind of like squirrels, but they absolutely don't look like squirrels. And there's life everywhere. And I had an opportunity where we recovered, or they had recovered. I was there with Mornay. They had recovered two bodies that were floating in space, and they belonged to American servicemen. And they grabbed the bodies, and they were able to somehow use some technology, and it may have been a form of a med bed. They knew exactly who these gentlemen were. One was a male, one was a female, and they knew exactly who they were and what ship they came from. And they had come from a safari ship. And what I mean by that is one of the deep state carriers. And so what they did was they hailed an alliance ship, and they made arrangements to turn over the bodies to them, along with their ID, who they were. And the difference between the two physical ships was absolutely so profound. I don't know that I could even put it into words, where one was very hard, very restrictive. The only thing, well, the hull had the ability to repair itself, but for the most part, it was very mechanical. Where the A ship and all of their ships, they're living, they grow them. They don't manufacture them, they grow them. And like you would a tree or a plant, they grow it. And therefore, it always has the presence. And the merging of the crew with the ship is a relationship. Okay. It's not where they just come in and take over. It's a relationship. They learn to work together.
Yes.
And because the ship itself has consciousness. And our ships don't really have that. They have some, but it's not even close to being the same yet. So, and I've never been on an Altian ship, so I don't know about that. But anyway, it's really pretty interesting.
Wow. So,
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that.
wow, that's cool. That's so interesting. Is the propulsion system, is it different than, say, a Galactic Federation of Worlds ship then? It's more conscious. It's more, yeah.
Well, consciousness has everything to do with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Uh, one of the things that they tap into is hydrogen, and apparently it's everywhere. It's everywhere. So it not only moves the craft itself, but it plenishes the ship with nutrients, with water, with just everything. It's a life force in itself. We don't realize that. Well, several Japanese scientists have been trying to explain that, that water has memory and it's constantly living and alive.
Yes.
We haven't been listening to that yet, not enough anyway. So that's just one of the components that they are well versed in, and they, of course, incorporate into everything about their ships. But one of the thing about the consciousness of their ships is that when they decide to go somewhere, the consciousness of the ship, and we would probably look at it as an AI, but the consciousness of the ship will project itself through portals, wormholes, etc., and find the easiest and safest way to that specific destination in the galaxy or in another galaxy. And what that consciousness does is that if there's issues such as solar flares or meteor storms or something else, magnetic waves of some sort that would put the ship in any type of risk or discomfort, then it will automatically, using its same consciousness, reroute and find another way for the ship to go. So before it moves, it already knows the journey. And once that decision is made, okay, we're going to go this route, boom, they just bring it together and they're there.
Oh, wow. That's
You know, so it's not like they get in the ship and they go, well, third star on the right. No, they're fully aware of how it's going to be and how it's going to go, and because the consciousness projects itself to that destination, and so it knows everything about the course and the path. It's really quite remarkable. It really is. And like a lot of other star nations that have been challenged with war, the A's haven't. So they've put that time into developing themselves and the ships and the technology and the consciousness. So, which is why they find themselves mentoring a lot of different races.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's amazing what you have both experienced. It's so valuable to share all this information. And I have like basic questions about bathrooms, and are they different? Are the beds comfortable? What are the sleeping quarters like? Are
I
there
didn't care,
cupboards? Like
I
it's
didn't care for the wallpaper, but
no. Have you like Alex, you had an extended period of time on an Andromedan ship, like sleeping quarters, like were they very small, like, or they just kind of are morphed to what you want in your mind's
okay.
eye?
Okay. The room itself, my quarters, was very plain, but there was a plate, a panel, a window that I could put my hand on, and I could think what it was that I wanted, and the room would create it immediately.
Wow, so cool. Okay.
And I had a lot of plants in the room. It will make it really small to make it very large. The bedding was a bed like I would have here on Earth. The potty was something similar, except there was no water. It would just go away. It would just go away.
Right. So yeah, Elena, you have ex similar experience with that.
So, and I had this device that would make the food. They had downloaded um, holographs of specific foods and fruits and things. No animal, but other things like nuts and stuff, apples, pears, bananas, things like that. a replicator of sorts. And the replicator, it was okay. The food didn't have any taste. But, you know, the device wouldn't have known that. Um, so, and they wouldn't have known that because they can't eat our food. The cucumbers, however, were stellar. The cucumbers were stellar. And I ate more cucumbers there than I've ever eaten. And to the point where I still haven't gone back to eating cucumbers. I kind of OD'd on it.
Oh. Elena, do you
But
want to share anything? That's fascinating, Alex. I just love like everyday things, you know, just to see how people live, how they live. I mean, how they accommodate us, you know, they're such
they've been
beautiful.
watching us for a long time. They
Yeah,
have been watching for a long time.
yeah. Elena, would you like to share?
Well, I have experienced quarters on different type of groups. On the alternship, I have a kind of a room there that I can use when I go there. It's very, it's difficult to describe. It's very organic and it's very cozy, and there's all these streams of water running all over the place in little channels everywhere. But I'm not. I haven't really stayed a long time there. But what I have experienced, it's the Galactic Federation of Worlds quarters when I visit Thorhan, and I've used the toilets a few times, the shower as well. I can tell about that. So the tower, by the way, the replicators, Alex, come and try some on the Galactic Federation World ships because they taste something, but it's kind of the contrary. They taste something that is approaching what you want, but the consistency is disgusting. It's like mash, or sometimes you have little bubbles, like grains, but it tastes like chicken, like vegetables, like, but they're not really good on making. But anyway, it's an emergency. It's when you don't have another solution,
Right.
because their first source of food is fresh food. Well, they are all vegan, and they grow their own food as well on the ships, especially when they go for long missions. And that's their first choice. They eat their own vegetables. And Thoran likes to cook as well. And sometimes they meet together in some of each other's quarters, and they cook and they eat fresh food. Replicators is for visitors and quick solution, you know. The toilets, I call it the beam toilet. It's a bit scary, but it's not dangerous at all.
Yeah.
You do your business, and it's gonna fall on something, and then the thing is going to go sideways behind in a whole area where it's dematerialized. But nothing is waste on the ship. There's no waste. Everything is recycled. Not as biological material as you recycle water by cleaning it. No, they really dematerialize, and all the particles go in containers. It's cylindrical containers. It's
Yeah.
high like this, and this is going to be to reconstruct matter. A lot goes into replicators, for instance, or construction, or any type of things what they need, clothing, or you know. So that's for the toilets, and it's a bit like Japanese toilets. You have something that's gonna clean you, like it's a kind of, yes, kind of water, but it's very gaseous water. It's really weird, you know. And it's like the shower. It smells. So you have two function in a shower. You have a sonic shower that is going to destroy all the harmful bacteria on your body. There's no water. It's going to scan you and make you really pristine clean without water. That's not my favorite. You have an option with water, and it's a water that smells a bit like, so it comes from little streams on the side. It smells like a bit your like the sea water. It's really
Oh,
nice,
that's really nice.
but it's not the cleanest way. They prefer the sonic shower. It's really pretty cool, clean. And what else? Yeah, I wanted to add something about the technology, the propulsion. I could really see the difference between, for instance, the Galactic Federation. They are the less advanced of the groups I know. They are just after us in the step of evolution,
Okay.
after Earth, and they all have torsion fields, propulsion systems derived from torsion mechanics. But on other ships, like the Altians, or even the contrast to me, the best contrast is the Anahim that we know as the Anunnaki. My friend Ia has a spherical ship that was grown in space and that is embedded in a consciousness. That's consciousness embedded in it. And I wanted to see it because once I asked him, how do you... I want to see the engine of the ship. Always want to see the engine. And he said, oh, but there's no engine, there's no mechanism. I said, how do you do the torsion field propulsion? He said, there's no torsion field. I said, you are telling me that your ship, it's enormous, it's nearly as big as the moon, has no torsion field. How does it move? And he said, it's the consciousness of the ship. I tell it where I want to go, and the consciousness that inhabits the body of the ship is going to move in space by itself. The being is going to just move, like floating, and that's how it works. So it has an electromagnetic field that protects the ship and shields it from radiations and particles when you move, cancels the mass, but it's not that moves the ship, it's the consciousness. And I saw it. I saw the core consciousness. It's in a big room at the center of the ship, and it's a big blue ball of crackling blue light. And it's alive, it's a being.
Beautiful.
And it's so it was different from the Andromedan ship that I visited, I suppose, because on the Nibiru ship, it's the consciousness is in the middle and embeds the rest of the ship. It's something, a soul that, yeah, fractal from source. But tell me if I'm wrong, Alex, but on the Zenate ship, I had the impression that there wasn't a central part where the consciousness was. My impression, my feeling was that it was everywhere, embedded in the whole ship instead. Am I wrong?
It's a holistic unity kind of a thing. It's all one. It's all one. It's not divided into sections. For example, when the decision is made, okay, we're leaving our solar system to go to somewhere in the Andromedan galaxy. Everybody on the ship knows it immediately because they're all connected to the consciousness of the ship and the ship to them. So when the decision is made that we're moving, everybody knows it. Where it could be that on the Anunnaki ship and other, because there's a central intelligence that there are layers of knowledge that is presented to the crew. That's not the same with the Zenates.
I agree.
And they're very, very serious about practicing the law of consistency. Everybody is in the same place, regardless of their age or their experience. And that's how they see a strength of their civilization, making sure that it will continue and to survive, because everybody has the same information.
That's so
Whether
beautiful.
they understand it or not, you know?
I
Yeah.
can't wait until humanity understands this fully, that to share the knowledge, the full knowledge, in order to, raise our own frequencies. And,
Yeah.
It's so important. So important. Elena, when you were talking about recycling, and Alex, please let us know what you think. But when we do buildings, like when, the Alpha Centaurians are on Mars right now, and they're helping the Galactic Federation of Worlds build the structures and the Tiru that are native to Mars. They're doing their work there. When we finally have access to this technology here on our planet to architecturally build new structures, and our old structures are kind of collapsing, or will they be able to just say, for example, take a house and like use all of the material and make a new structure with it, as in recycling? Because that's like something I've
Yeah.
thought of for a long time. Like, how would that work? Just
It would work because it's all energy.
it's just energy. So then
Whether
it would,
it's decayed or not, it's still energy. Yeah. When a building decays, it's mostly because there's no projection of intent into it. There's no energy being projected into the structure at all. And if there's no energy being projected into the structure, that means that no one's attention is even focused on it. And therefore, the energy is dissipating from that particular structure, and it begins to collapse because there's no energy to support it.
right. But like, if they want to build a new house, like I want to restructure my house into the modern structures that they're building now so that it's sustainable to our planet, do they just take an existing house and they can just change the structure of it to make it into what?
That I don't that I don't know down here. We haven't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah,
So
I always think Jetsons, like beaming the house and then changing the structure in the beam, and then it's like a new structure with crystalline windows, and like, the way that would sustain life in a more pure way. That's all. I find architecture fascinating, so just
Well, I
wondering.
believe it depends on the materials.
Yeah.
There are materials that other civilizations are using and that are coming to Earth. Actually, being slowly implemented, and we're going to hear about it more and more. These materials allow more destructuring and restructuring molecularly, atomically. I've been told about, I haven't seen it of my own eyes, but I've been told that there are technologies that are used in a federation and maybe throughout cultures, I don't know. But in a federation, they use sometimes it's like swarms of little tiny modules. It's very tiny. It's like tiny spiders. It's like mechanics, and it's moved by AI. And it's going to build structures, take atomic compound and change it and build at very, very high speed. And they can build ships in space as well. Those who are not grown, those who are built, they can do that as well as buildings. That's interesting, all the technologies out there.
Some last words of inspiration and hope. Alex, would you like to go first?
for those who are awake, you understand what you're seeing. You understand that what we're looking at is a controlled demolition of the old system, of the matrix. For those who are just waking up and are nervous and getting nervous or scared because you don't understand what's going on, you have to understand that part of what you're seeing is in fact a demolition of the matrix. And at the same time, you are seeing some theatrics to wake you up. It's a lot of it is done intentionally to get your attention, because we need all of humanity to focus on what's truly been going on here, so that we can make a decision which all of humanity is going to come to a crossroads. And that decision is, what is it that you truly want, and what is it that you no longer want? And that's going to make all the difference, because we have to focus on what it is that we want in order to draw it to us and for us to invest in manifesting it. And, being totally self-responsible means owning our own creations, taking responsibility for what it is that we manifest and what our intentions draw to us. And it's a huge responsibility in the beginning until you realize that all you have to do is genuinely be authentic about what it is that you want. And in order to truly know what it is that you want, you have to know yourself. For example, you look at the name on the driver's license and, it says Alan Shepard. Is that really who you are, or is that just the mask you're wearing in this lifetime? Okay. So that's where we have to get. We have to understand that you're not your driver's license. You're a soulful being who is multidimensional, who has the ability to literally become a star if you wanted. And they have to pull that into them, and that knowingness. And at that point, there is absolutely nothing that can hold you back from getting what it is that you want and being exactly who you are. And there should be no fear or hesitation related to that. And that's why it's so important for everyone to pay attention to the breakdown and teardowning of this matrix that we've been living in. Because the only thing that truly gave them power was to keep us from knowing who we truly are. And that's the reason they created the matrix, so we would not know who we are. That was the only edge they had in controlling us, because they can't control us when we know who we are. So hang in there. It's going to get better. There's going to be some bumps in the road, but it's going to be okay. Where we go one, we go all. End of story, period. So stop beating up each other. That's exactly what the dark side wants. Okay, that's my speech.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. Elena?
Wow, what to say after that? Only concur. And indeed the weapon of the enemies of humanity, it's distraction. Distraction involves confusion, fear, conflict, competition, ego flattering, everything that distracts humans from the sphere of their own consciousness, where they need to do the work. Because you can try to do actions around you, but if you don't know who you are, it won't go that far, very far. The secret is to recenter. When you bridge yourself to the knowing that you are creator, you are co-creators, everybody. We are all co-creators. But when you bridge your existence as it is now, your way of thinking, your fears, your concern, to the knowing of this being that is you, what you call the higher self, it's not something above you, it's you in a higher frequency. And this is the frequency of creator. This is who you are. Then nothing can distract you. Nothing can scare you, because you know that the substance you are made of is invincible, can achieve everything. And that's when we all come together as a civilization that can really be proud of this name. And one day, the people of Earth will be so in tune with themselves, will become who they really are, who they really meant to be, and go the step further. And at that moment, the people of Earth, not the star seeds who came here to help these humans, because these humans, they are special. They have a lot of intergalactic stardust in their veins, in their DNA. They can achieve so much. And one day, they will teach other star nations. That is why they are so precious. They are the builders of the future of this galaxy, and the wise elders that will join the communities and the grade of the wisest elders. So we have to protect them. And when you are a human of Earth, be proud. Everybody's crying, I want to be a starseed. Where do I come from? Oh my gosh. Have you ever considered to have the privilege to be from Earth? Because when you're from the Earth matrix, you are very special. And I can't wait to this day. I can't wait for this day when all of this happens. Well, it has already started. So we're heading towards something magnificent.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you. Thank you both. I want to thank you for taking the time to be here with us. Elena, I know it's very late for you currently in Europe. So thank you for accommodating us for tonight. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Alex, for your time. And thank you for our audience, our very special audience, for being here and supporting GDX. I am looking forward to seeing you in Stockholm in May. All of our information is on social media, so please hit the subscribe button. You can find Elena's information at elenadanaan.org and Alex Collier at alexcollier.org. They have wonderful webinars. I highly recommend them. So please, thank you very much again. Be at peace and be in your center. Be in your center. Thank you very much.